Hello, David.
Hey man,
How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
I see that and I'm happy.
Yeah, it was working with Ray's mentor last night was really you know an epiphany. And I don't know if you've ever worked in the mentor model with him.
Mm-hmm. I've played too.
Okay. Well, he or they kind of flipped around my understanding of who my customer is.
Mm.
Yeah. I thought that I'd been building for uh, a person who is actually going to consume the understanding, but I recognize that that person is not capable of opening the app. So if they can't open the app, they can't access the information.
Mm.
That their caretaker has to be that person who makes the information accessible. Now,
Yeah.
to put that into practical terms, um, Pat, my wife, doesn't necessarily understand how mechanical things work, and she has a hard time understanding information online, and it's hard for her to follow instructions, and she kind of gives up and says, "David, come down here and help me out." And
Mm.
so I come down and figure stuff out for her. Well, I'm the one that's consuming that, and I'm interpreting what I'm seeing online for her. But that means that I'm engaged all the time in helping her do something that she's done 3 or 4 times before.
Okay. Yeah.
So, what I need to do is to find a way to leave her something that she can access all the time. Now, what is that? I might need to print something out and stick it on the computer or on the humidifier or on the vacuum cleaner or whatever it is that she needs help with. That's helpful to her in a way that the app replay is not helpful to her because she doesn't open it. She leaves her phone where she can't find it. So that's the struggle of the BHAG. And so that means that I'm the one that needs to make the information accessible to her
Mm-hmm.
instead of me and instead of her being the consumer of replay. I'm the consumer of replay and I do something for her. And that, in a business model sense, that's a kind of a business to business kind of a framework instead of a business to consumer kind of a framework. And this is what the mentor kind of articulated to me, which means that I need to change my whole marketing strategy of how I'm going to reach that particular the caregiver
Mm.
and consumer.
Yeah. At least from the side of communication is something that I had the struggle too from my services because it's not easy to understand who is the ideal customer profile. Uh, but you made the first step, which is you have to start with a profile, a suggested profile from you. And then after going to market and testing and getting feedback from friends and getting feedback from real users, you can restructure the entire analysis for this person and adjust your communication. Definitely.
Yeah,
So in your practice, uh, you want to make for users easy accessible the knowledge that lives inside the application, right?
well, let me put it this way. Um there's a process of getting that information into replay. That means it needs to record something either off the internet or a YouTube, or you can just talk to it. It's a recording device that creates a transcript.
All right.
And the ultimate consumer, in this case, my wife, is much better at reading paper. She hates digital stuff, doesn't like it, doesn't want it. So I need to create something for her. So it's a step away of the actual source of the material. I'm an intermediary, not the actual consumer. And so what I recognize is that I need tools to modify what I get from Xano as a transcript and be able to manipulate the document, the text document, put in paragraphs, maybe some periods, correct some hallucinations that Whisper created when they transcribed. So I need to correct those things so she's not lost when she's reading it. I can't give her the raw transcript.
Correct.
I need to read through it. And so there's that intermediary step. So my job as a developer of replay is to make those tools accessible to the caregiver, which is me. And so what I've been doing this morning, it didn't take much because the app was pretty much complete anyway. But what I did was to offer a way to put what's called the Gboard, which is the keyboard, in an Android device, make that accessible. So I can just hit the pencil to edit the transcript, and then I can scroll through and tap somewhere and enter in something else or delete something else. So that's all it takes, man. It's all there. Now, I will say this, that the version that you will have access to does not have that feature. But it has a lot of other stuff. But in any case, I'm going to send out an email either today or tomorrow. I have guests this weekend. But I'm going to send out an email inviting people to think about not recording things at the doctor or the lawyer or stuff like that, but just, random thoughts that they have in their head that, sometimes it's helpful to hear back what you have to say. So before you talk to your kid about shoplifting or something like that, you don't want to come across as an asshole. And so it's good to, think about what you're going to say to your child, and then hear yourself back before you actually say it to your child.
Wow. I find this feature so interesting. And you gave me the idea to put it into my processes too. Because it's so smart. Getting an advice from your calm self when you are not calm, for example.
That's it, man. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I had this epiphany the other day. Let me see if I can find it real quick. It's in an email. I had a random thought, and I see you have another guest in the room, Alex. And I didn't want to, hog the whole hour here with Dimitri. So why don't you jump in with Alex, and I'll see if I can find this email.
Sure. Alex,
Hey, gentlemen.
how are you, man?
Pretty well. Thank you. I'm still at the beginning of my journey. Since the last time I introduced myself, I told you I'm a technical writer who started transforming into maybe an ontologist or something like that. And hard at work. Like my main client didn't hire me to be anything but a regular technical writer. So
Wow.
more still like in sponging mode, trying to figure out what I'm going to pitch to them on, when we get to the end of this project, how when they turn over all of this creative consultancy stuff, it's all theme park design material for their client, how they should also hire me to make knowledge graphs or ontologies or try to come up with to use your word, like a digital brain, like the wiring of how it's all connected, rather than just giving them a bunch of documents. So I've been reading, absorbing, and, I sort of want to be on the fly on the wall. If you're going to do something in Claude, I haven't started playing with Claude yet, either personally or professionally. So yeah, I'm just trying to, observing and listening and seeing what kind of nuggets I can find. But I know like before I even delve into technology, I've heard enough people talk about my use case here and that say, hey, don't worry about which model you're using or which tool. You really need to figure out your use case and what questions that people are going to ask, about semantics, really think about semantics. Like what are the problems I'm trying to solve? That's kind of, that's kind of what I'm just trying to stay really basic, in that too. So.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense to me. First of all, from your journey, feel free to put into the conversation any kind of question you may have. I think that my basic advice is to think very seriously, start using Claude and skills for Claude. It can skyrocket your journey, man. Absolutely. Are you familiar with skills?
I've read about it, but I have not played with it yet. But from what I understand, that is, so say I have a technical document, like I'm delivering 70 of them or whatever, like skills would be like on the meta layer, like the metadata layer, describing the types of things people need to do with this information. Is that correct?
Almost.
Okay.
So what is the skill file? It's a Markdown file that lives inside the brain of an AI agent. So when we talk about skills, we somehow immediately talk about an AI workflow, an AI process. Usually this skill is an SOP, a standard operational procedure, that specifies very, very well what we want this guy to do. I mean the AI, right? So you can use skill files to analyze those documents and give you step by step the final outcome, which can be your graph database, the knowledge graph, or summaries from your work, or even run them to give you the final report for your job. So you just tell them how you want it to be, and they do it. Now, how can you create those skill files? Is the question. Claude comes into your account with a basic skill, which is the skill to create another skill. So you don't have to know exactly how this skill has to be developed. It is enough to know very well from your professional expertise what is the SOP. So you give the SOP and ask Claude to audit and convert it into a skill file for you.
Okay.
Okay? Then you use that skill file, you download it, and you put it into Claude skill settings, and then Claude can use it. And then that means that immediately in your Claude desktop application, you can have this SOP running. To be more specific on that, well, the subject of the conversation, guys, is about showing you how we can use OpenClaw, but I think it's worthy to show here how we can get more familiar with the skill files and get advantage from it. Because also that would be a nice advice for you, David, to use skills to do the audits on the role transcripts. So
Yeah, thank you. That I totally understand what you're saying. I have a one issue only in the sense that I'm dealing with proprietary data, and I don't think my employer has given me permission to use any Anthropic tools yet. I'd have to ask. Right now, I only have Copilot available to me, with the green light. It's the point of saying, go ahead,
it makes sense. Here's the thing. You're not limited in Copilot or Anthropic. What Anthropic can do for you in that project, it can prepare the skill files very well, because you take the advantage of Anthropic models, which are quite smart in the market at the moment, and get those files, and instead of using them in Anthropic, go in Copilot, where is your basic environment, and use them right there.
Okay, good. Thank you. If they're transportable that way, that's good to know.
Absolutely. So let me share my screen for a moment. Hello, Nicole.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. And by the way, while I'm talking, guys, it's an open conversation. Feel free to bring into the chat any kind of question. We're here to learn from each other. So what we see here is the Claude desktop. Okay, do you see that?
Yeah.
So what you want to do is you want to create a new skill. What is the skill? Let me show you first step. If we go into customize, we have this option for skills. And here are my own skills. The skills I have at the level of the Claude application. For example, I created a Spotify artist data scraper. So there is a skill that is responsible to open my browser in my computer in a specific logic of finding the right artists and give me some data from Spotify platform. Make sense? And this is a standard operational procedure. It has to do it in a repeated way, exactly the same steps. That could be also a skill for creating a knowledge graph from the raw data. This is a project I'm working with a friend of mine who creates multiple skills for every different kind of documents he wants to process into the final knowledge graph, and use the specific skill with specialization for its purpose. Now, this is how it works. And Claude has this guy here, skill creator. If you get into reading it, it's a piece of context. All right? It's text, but it's text with two attributes. First of all, it can be read by the agents, AI agents, and AI agents can understand it very well. It's like a list of rules they have to follow, and they can follow very well. So how you can use it? If we go into the chat, we just put the slash and we see them. I would go skill creator and I would say, give me skill. I will take the advantage of David's example. Because in your case, Alex, I may have to ask you questions you may not feel comfortable sharing in public from the job. That's totally respectable. But this is how you can do it by yourself in private moment. All right? So give me a skill that I can read the raw transcript from the user and correct those words that have been lost by the transcription application. I just explained what I want to do. Now, for more complex cases like what you described, Alex, feel free to explain it. What is the thing you want to achieve? What's your goal? What kind of data do you have? Ask it to generate some raw data, sample data, so you can give it into this conversation and help it to create this sample for you. So what transcription sources do you typically work with? David, YouTube, Whisper, Otter?
Yeah, I use Whisper.
Right. What kind of content are you usually transcribing?
A podcast, that's good.
Mm-hmm. Anything else? Personal thought?
Yeah, personal thoughts are good.
What format should the correct output be? Clean, correct text?
Yeah.
All right. Now, the skill, no matter what is the input we give, it will give us some questions to answer. So we help the AI at the moment to figure out what is valuable for us, for our workflow, to create a nice and well-written skill that can do the job for us. Now it's working on that. If we open it, it writes this file.
What is it?
Of course, now what's going to happen, because I saw some notice, at the moment, my Claude knows a couple of things about me. It knows what tools I'm working on, what's the project, and so the outcome will not be 100% fit to David's case. But what we can do is to work on that into the conversation, asking it to make some improvements. Fun fact, the best way to ask AI to make improvements is by asking it first to recognize the missing things or the opportunities to get lost into the workflow, because these are the things we want to fix, where AI may get out of the right path. Yeah, and here it gives me some examples, like Neo4j can be transcribed like this, but the actual name is like this. And it's somehow, we could say that this is the ontology, a simple ontology. Ontology feature, not ontology for nodes graph. So here is the skill file. Okay, we can read it. We can get into a conversation to make it better and improve it. If we want to continue working with Claude, we can click this button, copy to your skills, and automatically will be listed into the customized tab. Fine. Otherwise, we can download it into our computer. It is a Markdown file. And then, Alex, you just upload it into Codex, into Copilot. And you ask it to build an agent that can use that skill. With the prompt, you don't have to figure it out about specific settings. Just ask AI to do all of these steps for you. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, thank you.
Sure.
I'll ask permission, before I drop in the Markdown file, of course. But I think that I'm putting this experiment in context for them already. I've already described their pain point or anticipating a pain point for the client, for our end user, and trying to say, hey, we can give our documents, but we can give something better. We can give machine readable, optimized documents, or even give them skill files, potentially give the client skill files. They can put it into whatever tool they're using.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of like one of the things, like, where I'm trying to add value. So thank you. You're really helping. Appreciate it.
Oh, lovely. I would totally go to think seriously about delivering skill files. There is also a very big new market coming up today with the skills, and skills written by professional with strong specialization in their domain are way very good, and it is without cost value. So imagine the best marketeer in your mind, the best technical writer you may have, or you as a technical writer, you can write down your expertise and create your own skills and make them available to the market. So I can use that skills into my computer and do that job applying the rules given from Alex or given by David, given by Nicole. Everybody here is a specialist in our domain, right?
Yep.
And I see a strong value in skill files, because it can be developed in hours, not in days. It can be tested the same hour, and they by default they can deliver strong values to people. And they work like plug and play. It doesn't matter what is your model. It doesn't matter if you are on Claude or on ChatGPT. It doesn't matter anything. It's plug and play.
Yeah.
Go into the agent mode. That's fine.
That's really interesting. Thank you, Dimitri. I happen to be a musician too, so that, like, the analogy popped in my mind of digital audio workstations and how some audio engineers have like a great effect that they've come up with for a guitar or for a reverb or something, and then they sell it as a plugin for the other people's platforms, and they plug it, and then the people just download it, put it in, and boom, they have all that to experiment with.
Yeah. And I find I had a talk with a friend of mine who is a musician in a hobby, and he told me that he was experimenting in creating skills that can help him to write new sounds. So what he did was just put into the conversation all of those things that AI had to take into account to create the final skill file. And he just got a couple of skills, many skills, and how he can use it. He can upload the 5-line paper with all the notes, and this paper can run the audit for him. It can give him some suggestions, and by default, he can say, I want to make this song in a version more rock and roll. And it comes up giving him some suggestions what to change, and he just starts playing, and that inspires his imagination on that, which I find it pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree.
Does that, Dimitri, does that work with in platforms like Runway or Midjourney?
Yeah. With Runway, I guess yes. The skill part, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have favorite artists that use Runway and Midjourney and other tools, and I'm just wondering, I don't have the skill sets that they have to generate the kind of art that they are generating. But like Robert was talking about this morning about giving somebody an idea of someone else's art like Chagall or something like that, or Picasso, and letting AI run with it so that they can generate a script that Runway can interpret. I don't have that skill to write that script, but it seems like if I could create a skill to translate my conceptual ideas into a Chagall artwork,
Yeah.
that would be very cool to me.
Yes, it is. And this is totally possible in Midjourney and in Runway. Because what you want actually is to give you the final script you have to process into those platforms. In Midjourney, you don't have API to do it automatically, but that's also fine because you can use other skills in the middle to process the data more programmatically. But for Runway, we have API, so you don't have to do anything. You can just get into the chat here and ask it to build the skill for communicating with Runway. That saves inside your API key, sends the script, and you get the outcome. This is how the Remotion got launched. If you saw that, they launched their own personalized skills for the software, so people can do the plug and play and create quick videos. It's crazy.
Crazy, but it's fabulous.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
it is.
Very cool. No.
I think I think I still like I'm sitting and I'm following and hearing what you're saying, but I still am not quite wrapping my mind around how this can be utilized. Because I understand you're telling AI to create a skill for you so that X, Y, and Z can be done, right? So you create the skill, then you transfer it over to an assistant for the assistant to do it, an AI assistant.
Great catch. Thanks, Nicole. How it works? These skill files is the brain, not the knowledge. We don't talk about memory all the time. We mostly use those skills files to let AI to know what we want it to do. In those skills, we describe the tools we're going to use. We describe also the actions per tool, all the logic and the standard operational procedure, like go open this URL on my browser window, find this keyword, click this button, copy the data, feed them back in the database. This is a classic scraping skill. If we want to do a more logical thing, like a skill that actually can compare data from two data sources, we can feed the data, and the skill specifies and gives the directions to AI how to think about using them. Now, the interesting thing came up with OpenClaw, and now with some other AI features given from Claude, from Anthropic also. But OpenClaw gave them first almost 1.5 months ago. Are you familiar, all of you guys, with OpenClaw? Have you ever played with that?
No.
I've heard of it. I haven't played with it yet.
Yeah, sure. So let me share that thing.
Yeah, when it came out in the news, it got a lot of buzz. Like software as a service companies were gonna like their stocks were gonna tank because of OpenClaw, right? Like people were like Salesforce or something like that. People were afraid people would create their own things and wouldn't need them anymore.
That's right. That's right. Actually, this is so true. Let me explain what exactly it is before we get into the live experimentation. So OpenClaw is an AI agent that has two characteristics. The first one is a system that can create sub AI agents and do the orchestration between them. Imagine AI agents like your co-workers in the office. Okay? We have an accountant, we have a marketing expert, we have a copywriter, we have a photographer, we have a financial expert. All of these are people with specializations, right? So now we can have an AI agent that can do their job. Agents, they cannot apply the logic of those people, but they can use the workflow these people are running and automate those processes for them. For example, we can use an AI agent to audit our financial data and recognize those KPIs that matter to us. What matters to me doing my financial reporting is totally different than what matters to Nicole, for example. So Nicole's relative AI agent will focus on something different. Now, the second characteristic for OpenClaw was that it has a relative skill file to write other skills. Okay, so while we talk with OpenClaw into the chat, it starts building other skills. It creates skills, it creates tool files, it creates everything it needs actually to do what we are asking it to do. Let's talk with examples. If we're using as a database Airtable, for example, okay, and we want this agent to have access into a table, we can ask it, what do you want me to do to give you to have access there? It will ask for an API key. We give it, and then OpenClaw is responsible to build all the mechanics. We don't see them. They live on the server or they live into our computer, depending on how we run it. It builds and you use them immediately. So the next question is, I don't know, anything about our data into the database, into Airtable or in Xano, for example, doesn't matter. So, and why I'm showing you here this thing, I'm using Slack to interact with OpenClaw at the moment because I had already Slack into my stack. We can use it with WhatsApp, with Telegram, Slack. You can have it even with SMS on your devices. And this is actually a bot that has access into specific information, and I can ask it to complete a couple of things, like set up a reminder, do some research. I would go with a question first, and then I will ask you to give me a question, which is, explain me how you work and think. And now,
And you're asking us in OpenClaw.
yes, this is OpenClaw. And now it shows me, yes. Nicole?
I guess my question is, when you say, can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, so when you're asking the question of, can you tell me what it is that you do? I don't know if I'm asking this question correctly, but who are you asking? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'm asking OpenClaw, which, if you can see here, it uses a Markdown file, memory. And it has also another Markdown file, user. It has another Markdown file, sold. These three files are very important for it. Memory is a file where it saves information for us. So your to-do list can live in here. Okay? Information about who I am, like this tells who you are, Dimitris, and your preferences, is inside here. Anything I tell it about myself, it goes automatically and updates this file. And then it's the soul file, which it specifies the personality, how I want it to talk to me. What is the voice of tone? Is it going to be funny, smart guy, an advisor, any specific thing? So it uses these 3 files. What happens in terms of the actual workflow? Our questions from here go into API of the model we selected. At the moment, I'm using Gemini Flash as a model. Goes right there, and it goes in a combination of information that live in these files, right? And based on the context from those files, it gives us the outcome, the final response. What would be a question you would like to ask? This is, by the way, an AI agent. And I think, Alex, for your case study, not specifically OpenClaw, but I would go with a Copilot to build AI agents with skills that can do the job you want to deliver. And I totally recommend that, even as experimentation for 2 hours. The first test result, maybe it's not the perfect one, but it will be surprising to you. And here is the opportunity for you to put your expertise in them and make them perfect.
Yeah. And I think you're implying that Claude will do a better job of making the skill file versus trying to make one in Copilot, right?
And
I'm agnostic. Yeah, I'm agnostic on the products. I'm just, so go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm just,
Nice point. To be honest, I find other products being also pretty good in creating those skill files. But here's the thing. Opus 4.6 from Anthropic is a model that definitely is uncompatible in the market at the moment. Maybe next week we have an improvement from other models, so the balances will change.
yeah.
I'm big fan of Anthropic products, and after them are Google products, Gemini, which are pretty good. I don't say that Copilot or anything else is not good. I say in public that I don't like OpenAI products. I use them a lot, and I had some frustrations in my work. But just for creating those things where we put the fundamental rules, I would go with Anthropic.
Mm-hmm. Got it. And I was implying with my question, Dimitris, that because even though if Opus is the best one right now, all my data is locked in SharePoint, that I might want to use while I'm building the skill. But you're saying I don't have to. I can do it sequentially, make it in Claude and then bring it into my environment and then continue to work with it there. Yeah. And you think I'll still end up at a better place that way?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's definitely doable.
Yeah. Okay.
Definitely. I think with Claude, it will be 2-3 prompts experience to create those skills files and get into experimentation. Don't focus on making them perfect from Claude side because you will not have your data. Go into Copilot and work with Copilot to make them 100% perfect. Because in Copilot we have the data, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Well, this is exciting. I'll report back to you how it goes.
I would love to hear. Nicole,
So
was that explanation clear to you? How? I know it's not the easiest thing. What's going on here those days?
Yeah, it was clear. I saw where you used, what was it, Claw, and you went into Slack, and then in Slack it explained what it was going to do in Slack, right? Not just overall, but if you needed for it to do something in Slack, this is what it would do for you in Slack as an AI assistant. Is that like a right statement?
So I'm using Slack as an interface only, as an application where I can go and play. It can access any application I will tell it to access. So I can give it access into my second brain, into my digital brain on Brain Graph. I can give it access to Runway, to any other platform I have access just through API. Those token things that we're using to connect applications, that's enough. It is responsible by itself to search and find what it has to do to build the connection for us. So let's run an example. Give me an example of application you would like to give it access.
So let's see. One of the things I'm trying to do is, I'm trying to do a lead generation tool, right? There. After I finish the lead generation tool, I want to be able to market this tool. And my thinking is, can I create content? Can I push content out to these different platforms and just have it run like a machine? So if I wanted any application to be accessed, I'd probably want to start with, what is it called? Elon Musk has just created it. It's
Grok?
Grok. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a maybe. So what I'm currently doing right now. So what I'm currently doing right now is using Gemini to create the I have a little mattress cartoon character that I've created. And that cartoon character is somebody that provides information about your sleep tactics and the best ways to get the best type of sleep, right? And in doing so, I'm trying to sell mattresses, right? That's my goal, to sell mattresses using this branded cartoon character. So what I do is I create the character in Gemini, and then I create the videos in Grok.
Lovely.
Right? And so I'm trying to so my thought process is, well, hey, can I use an assistant to create, because I already have the master file as to what this cartoon character looks like, right? Features and everything. Can I get this assistant to create these cartoon characters, create the videos, and then shoot them out to all these different platforms 3 times a day, 4 times, or once, whatever. That's my thought.
Okay, let's go to the first part.
Okay.
The answer is you can do it with OpenClaw, and similarly easy, you can go and build it with Claude desktop in your machine, and this thing will live in your machine. Okay? Pros and cons.
Claude have an interface? Sorry.
Sorry?
Does Claude have an interface? Does Claude have an interface of its own, or do you need to put it into something to get an interface?
No. I mean the Claude is an application where you can use it to build for you.
Okay, so I guess like when you go into ChatGPT or you go into Claude and you see that interface and you type in there what the prompts are that you want to have done, does Claude have that same type of interface, or do you need to put it in an application?
No. Claude as an application into your app, into your device.
Yeah.
It supports 3 options: the chat, the cowork, and the code, which is the Claude code, where you can just go in that and just start talking to it. And from that interface, which is again a chatting interface, you can ask it to build for you those opportunities, those tools you need to do that job for you, like create access into Gemini, where so I can give some prompt and take a cartoon image with these attributes. It is exactly the same thing, exactly the same process. You can use OpenClaw, like I'm doing it right now, and we're going to run the experiment, or you can use Claude code into your machine, right? If you go with Claude code, by default, you have the Anthropic models working for you. You don't have access to other model, and you get the advantage of every pricing plan in there. If you want to go with OpenClaw, you have the freedom to select what model you want to use. If you want to use Grok, if you want to use OpenAI, if you want to use Anthropic, and so on, and you are charged on API usage of it. So the more you use it, it starts charging you. Well, in Claude, you have the subscription. That's the main difference. So I will ask here OpenClaw to do, what do you want? What do you need to get access on Gemini and create me cartoon characters like this? She will tell me what I have to give it, and he gonna do it. Gathering information, you saw that? Gathering information means it starts searching on the internet by itself, giving me the right answers. So, access to the Gemini API recommended. So, I have to do the connection, that's fine. And then, which is only for the connection, and then it's asked me a couple of things about what kind of cartoon characters do I want to do. If I put into the chat the API key, immediately builds the connection and all those tools it has to use. And it answering these questions, it will know inside the memory and the soul and the context what he has to do and when. So every time I'm asking it to do that thing, he can go and do it.
So another question for you, in Claude, because I'm hearing about all these different tools and all these subscriptions, and I'm thinking, do I have to be subscribed to Gemini and Grok and Claude, in order for this to to be generated and work like the machine that I wanted to?
Nice. Very good cuts again. You don't need to have a subscription with monthly basis to all of them, right? By default, you need one tool. If you go with Claude, for example, even in the free plan, it works for you. The thing is that the context window is quite short, so somehow they push you to upgrade, but that's fine. But for all the other things, like here on Gemini, if I want to use Grok or any other stuff, I just need the API key, which is a key we take from those platforms. We just put a card on that. We don't have a monthly subscription. The more we use them, the more they charge us. It's the model of pay as you go. Did that answer your question?
And so it would be. So I think what I'm hearing, what I understood you say was, instead of, so I'm using Claude, right, to kind of access all of these different applications. But instead of me having to pay a subscription to all of these applications, I would just pay as I go with these applications. So if I'm using Grok, if I'm using, let's say, Gemini or Midjourney, they wouldn't charge me the $20 subscription. They would charge me, let's just throw out a number, 17 cents for every time that I use it.
Is that accurate?
It for Gemini it is accurate. For the other application, we cannot say it's accurate because it depends on the pricing policy.
Okay.
For example, if you want to access on Airtable, Airtable doesn't charge you as you go. You need to have a subscription on Airtable to have the tokens by default. So you get into the plan of $20 a month.
Right.
If you want to have Runway, which is an application, I really love it. This tool, and I worked in the past integrating with Zapier. They offer also the subscription mode. They offer the pay as you grow on API level. The choice is always yours.
And what does Runway do? What does that application do?
It's an application that can convert images to videos, and it can edit videos with AI. It's amazing. It is designed and developed by video directors. One of them is a Greek guy. I met him a couple of months ago. And when I saw the presentation, I said, wow.
You can also go text to video.
Text to video, yeah.
With Runway. So what is have you tried Grok? What do you think that the comparisons are in terms of Runway and Grok? Because I've tried them both and I tended to lean towards Grok, and it could be because of user error. But what are your thoughts on Runway versus Grok? Because they do the same thing, right?
In those cases, I would say go and test it for yourself, because what is a nice result for your project's purpose is not the same thing for me, right? So, and this is what I do. I test many things at a time, and I make a decision for short time. Grok is pretty good in many things. Runway is an application with a specification on that one thing. This is how I would go. So we had mostly a conversation today about the AI agents. Before we close the session today, are there any kind of questions about what is the agents, how they work, what you can do? So this conversation can be helpful for you guys for the next steps in your process.
Sorry, I got a phone call. Were you asking me a question, Dimitri?
Yeah, before we wrap up the conversation, I want to ask you if there are any other questions, or if it is clear to you what is these agents, how they work, how they use skill files, or any other question you may have.
I think for me personally, I would have to go in and experiment, play around with it, and then come back with my questions, because I've never used it before. So it's still all very new to me.
It makes sense. David?
I'm kind of like Nicole. I've got to play around with these things to make sense of them before I have informed questions. But Dimitri, I want to, our earlier conversation about testing out an idea, just dictating into replay and hearing yourself and reading what it is that you do. Once you download the new version of replay, I will send you a zip file. And you can import that zip file and experience what I experience. So I can share files with you, and you can hear it and read it at the same time. And it's an interesting experience when you have, it's kind of like a bedtime story. You know, you can hear your parents tell you a story and you can read the words yourself as a little child, and it makes a much deeper impression on your brain when you can read something and hear it at the same time. And that's really the beauty of what this application does. So I look forward to sharing that with you when the time comes.
I would love, and I'm looking forward for the link to use applications on my Android, because I have Android.
Yeah. Well, Google has to approve this. I can check in and see if they have if they've approved yet, but they have to authorize me distributing the link to do that before I can share it. So I can send you that as a test. I think I do it by email. I just don't know if they do it automatically, because sometimes Apple sends them out, and I don't know if Google does as well.
Yeah, I got those emails, but opening them from my device, I wasn't able to download the application. It was saying that this is not a valid link. So, I don't know what happened there.
Okay, well, we will work this out.
Wonderful, lovely.
Okay, take care. Bye, people.
Care, David.
Dimitri.
Wonderful weekend. Alex?
Dimitri,
Yes? Nicole?
oh no, go ahead. I didn't want to interrupt Alex.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Alex if he has any other question about his journey, ontology stuff, or what we discussed about AI agents, anything you may have.
Thank you. No, you've answered the questions I had for today, and actually just kind of gave me the kick in the butt that I needed to just go ahead and do it, because I'm a bit of a paralysis by analysis kind of person sometimes, and I'm in that, I was kind of in that mode of, you know what I mean, like kind of getting wound up about doing something, but I hadn't actually taken enough steps forward yet. So that's kind of what a major takeaway today was, just to, you know, go ahead and install Anthropic, open up an account and build a skill file, get permission from my employer to bring it into their environment, and see what happens. I'm really looking forward to trying it.
Yeah, I start building with the skills.
Yep.
Right? And added, guys, into the chat a link, the S8.
Yeah,
If you check it, the skills.sas.
I got it.
This is a website where you can find other skills, existed skills. And I would encourage you, totally, both of you guys, to go and search what kind of skills already exist in your domain. Alex, maybe in technical writing, you may don't find it exactly as technical writing, which means here's an opportunity for you to create those skills. But I guarantee you will find tons of skills about copywriting.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And there are tons of skills about lead magnets, lead generation things, which is the domain from Nicole.
Okay.
So you can copy those links, give it to Claude or whatever is your the tool you're using, guys. Copilot, it doesn't matter. It's a global, this technology. And ask it to configure it into your machine, and it will start running.
Dimitri, I know that Make does assistance, AI assistance. They're really pushing that right now. Have you used that for AI assistant?
Are you talking about the AI assistant inside Make that helps you build the? Yeah, I use it in the past sometimes. It's good enough, but it can just bring the nodes, and usually, in my experience at least, it wasn't bringing the nodes I really want to use. Most probably, maybe they improve it. If you want to experiment with it, my answer is go for it. Experiment, because maybe it can help you do the job and do your own job faster. And you have to take this advantage.
Right, right. I wanted to ask one more question. So is there an opportunity to have like a work session? And what I mean by that is bring back what it is that we're trying to accomplish and then talk amongst ourselves if we've gotten stuck or if we've been able to accomplish it and show what we've done or ask questions around what it is that we're trying to do. Is there an opportunity for that?
Yeah, for sure. I'm running these kind of events, the mastermind event and the office hours event, for example, those reasons. Wednesdays, 1 p.m. EST time. Today it started at 2 p.m. because of the time difference, but next week we go also to 1 hour ahead. So from the next week, every Wednesday at 1 p.m. EST time, and every Friday office hours, 1 p.m. EST time again. So, and that's the purpose of those events. We can gather and talk to each other. And Alex, feel free to join those events also. And I'm very glad you guys to share your screen and guide you live, because we all learn from that process.
Unfortunately, I can't attend the 1 o'clock events.
Oh,
But I'll figure it out. Yeah, I usually work until 2.
okay.
But I'll figure it out. Yeah, you don't have to worry about me.
Okay. Great. About the time, I may change it, guys. I don't know if you already subscribed into the list of I sent today to send you automatically emails whenever I have the schedule of event. Feel free to let me know to stop sending you emails, because honestly, I don't want to spam anyone.
It's okay. I registered for that, so you don't have to spam me.
All right.
I didn't see it as spam anyway. I appreciate, like I said, I needed a kick in the butt today, so that's what you did. You were right on time.
Oh, nice. Nice to hear that.
Just it gives you an hour advance a heads up that the meeting is coming up, and yeah, I think it's helpful.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much for joining and giving insightful thoughts for this conversation.
Yeah, thank you.
Albert, weekend, and see you next week.
See you. Especially
See you.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.